Okay? Ito yung mga magagaling when it comes to the arrangement and organizing the movement itself. Di ba? Sila rin yung mga tinatawag nating creative and they can create ideas in a certain point that through dancing there is storytelling. Paano nila ginagawa yon? The use of movements. So, kailangan meron kang deep understanding regarding movements abilities. Kasi kapag ikaw ay isang choreographer, automatically you have the skills, the technical skills, and every skills na meron ka, especially when you create movements. Okay? Next one, we have technique. At sino tong mga technique nito? Aside from the choreographer na gumagawa ng mga steps that they need skills and techniques, of course, yung mga dancers din po natin, they need to have this. Kasi kapag sinabi nating technique, it refers to a technical skills na sinasabi ko kanina. Skills and principles that the dancer need to develop to execute movements. Kasi in technique, ang pinaka-importante dyan, how you execute the movements. Okay? Kailangan maganda yung execution mo. Kailangan, kagaya ng sinasabi ko, kung ikaw ay isang dancer, you need to be very flexible. You have the strength, you have the artistic, and every skills ay dapat meron ka through dancing. Okay? And also, syempre sa technique din, hindi lang siya skills, kailangan kino-consider na din natin yung alignment ng body natin, yung posture natin, yung balance. Baka naman mamaya bigla ka na lang na sumayaw, bigla ka na lang natumba. So, hindi para sa iyo yung dance na yon. Again, flexibility, your strength, and also coordination of your body in executing the movement itself. Next, we have the themes. Si themes kasi those are ideas or concepts or narratives na we can explore through movements or through dancing. At yun yung ipinapakita natin, di ba? At ito kasi yung parang the general idea when we try to create a choreography, dapat alamin mo muna kung ano ba yung tema na gagawin ninyo. Okay? Alamin mo muna kung ano ba dapat ang movements na gagawin. Kasi mas nauuna dapat yung tema ng sayaw kaysa sa paggawa ng step. Okay? Last, number 6, we have there the design. And it's stated there that it's a plan, organization, or pattern of movement in time and space. Yes, it is. Okay, and aside from that idea, si design kasi it's a visual aspect. Okay, it's part of the visual aspect of the performance. Ano yung mga ano tong mga sinasabi nating visual aspect? Ito yung mga stage natin, the stage set. Kapag stage set ang pinag-uusapan natin, kailangan kino-consider natin yung lighting dyan. Maganda ba yung lighting? Nakikita ba yung taong sumasayaw? O baka naman dark na siya, hindi na natin makita yung tao. Aside from that, of course, we consider visual aspects, yung mga props na ginagamit. Okay? Kasi yan ay mga pang-visual effect. And also, we can consider costume as part of visual aspect. Kasi it's a visual presentation and also a characterization of a certain dancer. Doon natin makikilala kung sino yung pino-portray ng mga dancer through the use of costumes. Okay? And in using costumes and design, kailangan ay nagko-complement siya sa choreography natin. Okay? Halimbawa na lang, traditional cultural dance naman pala yung sayaw ninyo. Tapos nakapantalon ka, naka-t-shirt ka lang, o whatsoever. So, hindi siya nagko-complement. Dapat yung design at costumes natin always it complement to the choreography kasi it reflects the style, the theme, and the story of that certain dance. So tandaan natin yung mga elements of dance natin. Okay? Aside from that, the reporter also discussed the elements of drama. So pag sinabi nating drama again, going back, pag sinabi nating drama, ito ay need to be performed or perform in front of the live audience. Okay? Si drama kasi, it's written primarily to perform in front of the live audience. And with that, we use the different elements of drama. Kung noon kasi, meron kasi tayong tinatawag na plot. Wherein, in plot kasi, it's not just for drama, but for us to create a storyline. Okay? Ginagamit natin si plot. Si plot kasi noon, meron lang tayong tinatawag na the traditional plot that we have, merong beginning, middle, at saka si ending. Yun lang tatlo, beginning, middle, at ending. Pero, pagdating kasi sa new plot, which created by Phrase Tags Pyramid, if you're familiar with that, and I know nakakita na kayo ng plot na kung saan it's a mountain or it's a pyramid where it consists of different parts. I hope your teachers from senior high school or junior high school introduce it to you, the phrase tag pyramid. Si phrase tag pyramid, it's not just for beginning, middle, and ending. Okay? The pyramid itself has different parts. First part is the exposition. Okay? Pag sinabi nating exposition, it's the part wherein it introduced the setting of the story. Aside from the setting, it introduced the characters, especially the protagonists of that certain story or that certain drama. Okay? Sunod doon kay exposition ay yung tinatawag nating rising action. That's where complications it started. Pag sinabi kasi nating complications, yan yung mga conflicts na sinasabi natin. Through rising action, it introduced the conflict. Okay? A simple conflict from a complicated conflict. Tandaan natin na may mga iba't ibang klase ng conflict. Ano yung mga conflict na yon? Like for example, man versus man. Pag sinabi nating man versus man, yung sarili versus yung ibang tao, character versus the other character, kagaya ni protagonist versus the antagonist. Okay? Next one, man versus self. So, kaaway mo yung sarili mo. Siguro the way you think, the way you act, di ba? Minsan, di ba, kinakalaban natin yung sarili natin. Like for example, bibili ka ng milk tea, tapos sinasabi ng utak mo, wala ka ng pera, wag ka nang bumili. Pero gusto mong bumili. So, yun yung conflict mo. Okay? Man versus a man or man versus self. Okay? Aside from that, we have man versus nature. I know you're familiar with this kasi lagi sa mga ibang films or drama, lagi tayo nakakakita ng character versus nature. Ano yung kalaban nila? For example, Godzilla, ano pa, tiger, yung mga mababangis na hayop, yung mga kalaban nila. That's man versus nature. Aside from that, man versus society, it's also a conflict. Ano naman yung man versus society? Ito yung kalaban mo ay the society itself. Okay? So yun yung mga iba't ibang klase ng tinatawag nating conflict or what we call the complication. At yan ay pinapakilala or pinapakita doon sa tinatawag nating rising action in a phrase tag pyramid. So, pataas tayo. Okay, next we have the climax. And the climax, it's the exciting part of the drama or the story. Okay, ito na yung na kung saan there's a conflict wherein halimbawa si bida at saka si kontrabida naglalaban na, nagkakaroon na ng battle, nagkakaroon na ng face-off. Okay, sino kaya matatalo, sino mamamatay? Oh, and then go down, bababa siya na it's a bridge to a certain ending or denouement of the story or drama. Yun yung tinatawag nating falling action. After the climax, we have the falling action. Siya yung magsasabi sa atin, siya rin yung magiging guide natin kung ang ending ba ng kwentong yan ay masaya or malungkot. Okay? So, yun yung tinatawag natin falling action. Kasi nga, nagpo-fall na kasi nakikita na natin or may solution na doon sa certain problem of that certain drama. Okay? At si ending naman, it's what we call the resolution or yung tinatawag nating denouement. Kaya siya tinawag na anticlimax. It's because you will determine if the story is happy ending or sad ending or whatever ending it is. So yan yung tinatawag nating plot. Kasi si plot kasi it is the overall structure of the play or the story. Okay? Next one, we have their setting. Pag sinabi nating setting, it's not just the local or the period of the story that it takes place. Kino-consider natin lahat dito. Like for example, si weather condition, umulan. Kino-consider din natin yung pag-ulan na yun as a setting. Hindi lang yung place at saka kung kailan ginawa yung kwento na yun. Aside from that, kino-consider din natin dito yung mga bagay na ginamit through play or through drama or through that certain story. Like for example, yung mga props na ginamit, yung mga costumes na ginamit, yung lighting na ginamit, yung mga sounds na ginamit, yun ay kino-consider natin setting. Hindi lang siya place or at time kung kailang ginawa, kung hindi lahat ng ginamit nila to that certain drama, to that certain play or story ay kino-consider na setting. Okay? Next one, we have the character. Meron tayong tinatawag, when we try to describe the character, ang tawag doon ay characterization. Pero kapag sinabi natin character, it's a person involved in the story. Like for example, sino si protagonist? Like for example, si Sir Jerome, protagonist. Si Alma, antagonist. So lalagay mo na yung mga pangalan ng mga characters doon. Okay? Wala nang description to that certain character. Kasi nga character yun naman hinihingi niya. Pero kapag tinawag siyang characterization, please pakitandaan to. Characterization, ibig sabihin, the name of the character at saka kung ano yung description ng character na yon o kung ano yung role ng character na yon to that certain drama or to that certain story. Like for example, Alma, the protagonist of the story. Ano pa yung role ni Alma? Ano pa ang ginawa ni Alma? How can you describe Alma aside from being protagonist of that certain story? Okay? Yun yung tinatawag nating characterization. Compare it to the character, you just try to give who the character is without any description to that certain character. Okay, next we have the dialogue. Pag sinabi nating dialogue, those are the scripts na binibigkas ng mga characters with, of course, with their emotions, combining with their emotions where they can express their thoughts and emotions. Yun yung mga script na binibigkas nila at tinatawag natin yung mga yan as a dialogue. Next, we have the theme. The theme, it's what the story means. Okay? Saan ba nakabase yung kwento? Bakit nagaganon ako? Okay, saan ba nakabase yung kwento niya? That's what we call the theme. Okay, yung tema ba niya ay patayan? Yung tema ba niya, it's more on masayahin lang? Yung tema ba niya ay merong social issues or mga political issues with that drama? Okay, that's what we call the theme. And through theme din kasi, nakakakuha tayo dyan ng mga lesson or moral of that certain drama. So those are what we call the elements of drama. Next, we have the elements of theater, wherein hindi mo mabubuo ang isang magandang istorya kung wala tong mga tao na to that they contribute to that certain story. Okay? We have there the playwright. Si playwright ay siya yung writer. Okay? Siya yung gumagawa ng plot. Tandaan po natin yan. Somehow si playwright kasi it's also the author of that story. Okay? Next, we have the performers. Kung sa kabila, sa drama kanina, or yes, if I'm not mistaken, ang tawag sa kanila ay mga actors. But in theater, tinatawag silang mga performers. So those are people that can portray a certain character in a play. Okay? Next one, we have the director. Director need to work with playwright for them to create a good dialogue or a good script for their performers. Okay? Next, we have the production designs. Ito yung mga tao na kung saan sila yung bahala sa production process. Sa production design, dito natin nilalagay kung ano yung scene, scenery of that certain scenario. Kasi sa theater play kasi, iba-iba yung kanyang scenery depending on a situation na ginagawa nila. Of course, we put there the props, kung ano yung mga gagamiting props, the makeup, the costumes, the light, the music, the sounds, everything that is part of a theater production or part of the production process. Okay? Next, we have the elements of the cinema or the motion picture. We have there the acting and the star. Okay? Sino yung tao na yun that portray that certain character? Siya rin yung nag-a-act. That's what we call the acting and the star. Okay? Like, for example, sino ba itong mga gusto ko? Like, for example na lang, Coco Martin. Coco Martin is a star and also can act. Okay? Next, set and art directors. Anong trabaho nila? They build artificial sets or a place or a setting of that certain scenario of that certain story. Sila rin yung tumitingin kung anong setting ng kwento nila. Next, we have the music and the musical director. Of course, musical director, ang point niya naman, it's for music and sounds. Siya yung maghahanap nun. Of course, kailangan nagko-complement yun dun sa scenes na binibigay ng story. Okay? So, we have their colors, makeup, hair, and costume designs. We have the sound, camera, and special effects technicians. So those are the things that we can consider in the elements of cinema or what we call the motion picture. Okay? Again, anong pinagkaiba ng cinema sa theater class? Anong pinagkaiba? Can you just, yes, Tan?
Yung theater po, live performance with a live audience. Tapos yung cinema naman po, recorded siya.
Ano pinagkaiba? Okay. Pag sinabi nating, pag sinabi nating cinema, ibig sabihin pre-recorded na lang siya or recorded na lang siya. Yung nakikita natin, napapanood natin. Pero pagdating kay theater, there is an interaction of the character and also the audience kasi it's a live performance. Very good. Next, that's it. That's the last. That's the report of our group 3. Okay, congratulations, group 3. Very good, very good. Ayan. Ako'y tawag nito. Ayan, ito pala. Ito pala yung reaction na sinasabi nila. Kanino ko pa hinahanap? Nandito lang pala. So, para akong A1. Okay, again, congratulations to all the reporters. Next, can we have the group 4 for their topic is the key elements of visual art. Yan. So, next reporter, you may now present your PPT.
Okay na? Magsa-start na ako. So, good afternoon everyone, especially to Sir Ballesteros. We are Group 2 and we will be discussing about...
Si Luciano pala.
Po? Ay. We will be discussing about visual art, its rules, elements, and principles, which are the factors in creating the visual art. Now, let's discuss the elements of visual art. Next slide, please. According to art history, there are 3 key elements that are dependent of each and their specific elements, which are form, content, and context. So, nakikita nyo sa slide, ito yung tatlong elements of visual art, which is very important sa paggawa ng isang visual art. Next slide po. Next slide. So the first element is form. It defines as the specific elements in the artwork that are organized to produce a unified whole. The types of form are as follows, primary and secondary. So the primary are just basically the physical attributes, which is the color, the texture, and many others. As kasama na rin pala dito yung medium, yung size. Next is yung secondary features. It is more on how the primary features relate to one another to produce a better output. This applies yung principles of balance, proportion, harmony, and unity. Basta ang difference nila, yung primary is yung kung ano yung medium and magiging itsura ng isang visual art. Sa secondary naman, ito yung parang kung paano nagko-complement yung isa't isa sa isang visual art. Now, let's move on dun sa content. Content refers to what the artist wants to convey in their art. So sometimes we associate the content on the emotions of the artist with colors and texture, ganon. We were able to interpret what the artist wants us to know. Minsan kaya parang may nakikita tayong parang interpretation kada colors, like for example sa black, depression, sadness, ganon, or blue, ganon din, sadness, depression, tapos pag color green, growth, ganon. So next one is the factual level. It is the literal interpretation of the work, its imagery, describable attributes, actions, and poses. An example of it would be yung painting ni Edvard Munch, which is yung The Scream. Hindi ko alam kung familiar kayo doon, pero yun yung parang painting na nasa isang bridge yung isang babae. Nasa isang bridge yung isang babae, then yung parang babae, parang nakapose siya as parang sumisigaw. So, the lady in the painting, parang pinapakita niya na she is terrified by something or a presence. And ayun nga yung example ng factual feature. Next reporter na po.
And to continue the content of elements, which is the conventional level, it takes into a consideration that the basic genres and the figurative meanings usually indicated by a familiar signs and symbols and the qualities of the work. Sometimes this content refers to a underlying meaning or the messages that convey through the various elements present in a visual artwork. And these elements including the line, color, shape, texture, and composition, among others. Some artists, utilize nila yung elements na to communicate ideas and emotion or the narrative to the viewers. For example, the lines. Horizontal lines may convey a sense of calmness or stability, while the diagonal lines can imply energy or the tension. The use of these lines can also define shape, create patterns, or guide the viewer's eye within the composition. And it is important to note that the interpretation of the art can vary among viewers, and the different individual may perceive and extract different meanings or emotional responses from the same artwork. So let's go to the second one, which is the subjective level of content. It takes into a consideration that the effect of the form and content on the viewers of the art. This subjective level refers to a personal or an individual interpretation and emotional response that the viewers bring to a work of art. It is the subjective experience and meaning that each individual attributes to the various elements represent in the artwork. Some artists, they create works with the intention of evoking emotion, provoking thoughts, or conveying some ideas. But this subjective level of content may recognize that the viewers may have different reactions and interpretation based on their own perspective and experience and emotion. For example, is the texture. The tactile quality of texture is an artwork. It may trigger subjective responses. Some viewers some viewers may experience some sense of familiarity or some nostalgia when encountering a certain texture, while others may find it unpleasant or interviewing. So, in summary of this subjective level of content in elements of art, it acknowledges that each viewer brings their own perspective, emotion, and interrogation to the artwork. So let's go to the next topic, which is the context of elements. So this context of elements refer to a various circumstances that influence how a work of art to the various circumstances and influence how a work of art was produced and interpreted. So this context of elements refers to a various factors that influence the interpretation and meaning of the artistic elements. It, these elements also included the line, shape, form, and color, texture, value, and space of the work. The context of elements also involved considering the purpose, historical period, cultural influences, and artistic intent behind those creation of artwork. And also we have the two types of context in elements, which is the primary context and secondary context. The primary context pertains to the character of the artist, his personality, beliefs, interests, and values. However, it isn't essential in analyzing and interpreting artwork. It helps viewers understand the underlying influences, motivation, and meanings embedded in the artistic creation by exploring the historical context, cultural context, and artistic intent. One can develop a more comprehensive understanding and appreciation of the artwork. And the second one, which is the secondary context, also pertain to the setting, the historical period, time in which the work was produced. Included here are the functions served by the artwork, its religious and philosophical conviction, socio-political and economic undertone, climate, and geography. It also refers to the additional factor that it contribute the interpretation and understanding of artworks beyond the primary context. And this secondary feature encompass elements such as critical analysis, art theory, audience reception, and intertextuality. It also considered that these second features provide a more nuanced and comprehensive view of the artwork and its place within the broader art world. And also, by considering this both primary and secondary feature of context, viewers can also develop a comprehensive understanding of work of art. It also recognizes its inherent qualities as well as the external factor that influence its creation and interpretation. And the next report.
So, ayun, tapos na tayo sa key elements of visual arts. Ngayon naman ay pupunta tayo sa principle of design na i-discuss namin sa inyo ng aking kaibigan na si Kurt Baron Macarranas. Next slide, please. Balance. Balance is the distribution of visual weight of object colors, texture, and space. Yung use ng balance is to make the viewers see and feel the design as stable. So, meron tayong three types of balance. The first one is symmetrical balance. Symmetrical balance results when the when element used on one side of the design are similar to the other side. Katulad nitong nasa picture na nasa slide, parehas sila both sides kaya they look balanced. Sa astrometrical balance naman, they are different visual image on both sides but the image is still balanced or stable. Katulad nung, ayan yung halimbawa dyan, yung asymmetrical balance. Square yung isa and then may mga maliliit na apat na bilog yung sa kabila. Pero mukha pa rin silang balance kahit magkaiba sila ng element. Sa radical balance naman, achieved when the elements are arranged around the central point. Yung elements may exhibit similarities as they spread around at the central point. Next slide, please. Next slide. Yun. Thank you. Sa emphasis is the part of the design that catches the viewer's attention. Sa madaling salita, siya yung nag-i-stand out sa art. Usually, yung mga artists will make one area stand out by constructing it with other areas. Pwede siyang maging ibang size, color, texture, shape, etc. Like katulad nitong example dito, 'di ba may kulay green at siya yung nag-i-stand out doon kasi pag naiba ka, ikaw yung nag-i-stand out. Next naman is movement. Movement is the path the viewer's eye takes when looking through the work of art. Sa movement naman, yung mga artists, yung for instance, yung mga artists will gagawa sila ng pathway within their artwork so that the viewers will automatically look at a piece in that certain direction. Next slide. Sa pattern is the repetition of objects, shapes, lines, symbols all over the space or picture plane. Sa pattern can be used to create balance, organize surfaces in consistent manner, or create contrast. So, yung pattern, parang inuulit mo lang yung specific visual elements, pwedeng isang single unit or multitude of forms. Sa proportion is the feeling of unity created when all parts relate well with each other. Sa proportion refers to relationship of two or more elements in composition and how they compare to each other. Pwedeng kino-compare sila by size, color, quantity, degree, settings, etc. Yung relationship will form when two or more elements are combined in one painting. So that's all.
Okay, so next slide tayo. Repetition. Repetition works with patterns to make the work seems active. The repetition of elements of design creates unity within the artwork. So, dito sa repetition, it refers to the use of recurring visual elements within the composition. So, by using repetition, it can enhance the overall aesthetic and communication of the design. Next one is rhythm. Rhythm is created when one or more elements of designs are used repeatedly to produce a feeling of organized, continuous, sometimes a flowing movement. So, sa rhythm, for rhythms, it helps to create a visual interest, movement, and a sense of unity. And the designer can effectively utilize the rhythm to enhance the overall aesthetic experience of their artwork. Next, variety refers to the intentional use of diverse elements that adds interest in order to hold the viewer's attention and also to guide the viewer's eye through and around the work of art. Next one is unity. Unity is the feeling of harmony between and among part of the work of art, which create a feeling of completeness in the composition. So for the unity, it allows the viewers to connect within the design and uh, and allows them to understand what is the message or purpose of the artwork. Next reporter, please. Bagares.
Pasensya. Rule of thirds. Rule of thirds is a basic guideline that is used by visual artists to create pleasing arrangement and layout for great composition. Ito ay ginagamit ng mga artists or photographers para maging mas proportionally aligned ang mga subject and para maging pleasing na rin ito sa mga mata ng mga tao. Mas maganda tawagin na technique kaysa sa rule kasi mas maraming composition na pwede gamitin, hindi lang ang rule of thirds para maging proportion ang subject nga. And mas nagagamit din ito ng mga beginners para meron silang basic guideline na madaling matutunan. Next slide. Ambides.
Sa tingin ko, yung art na yan is para siyang three-dimensional na may magkakadikit na bahay, tapos may window. Yung window na blue.
So, tapos ka na Bides, no? Yan. So, we're gonna talk about na sa kay the 7 Da Vinci principles. So before we talk about the 7 Da Vinci principles, we talk about the man itself, Leonardo da Vinci. Yan. So who is Leonardo da Vinci? So Leonardo da Vinci, as we know, he painted the Mona Lisa, but other, just not like the Mona Lisa, he also painted the Last Supper. So napaka-familiar natin sa the Last Supper, and Leonardo da Vinci is the man who painted it. And also the early his design of the helicopter, and here, and the Vitruvian Man. So yan po yung mga gawa ni Leonardo da Vinci. So ngayon, pag-uusapan natin yung 7 Da Vinci principle and also Leonardo da Vinci. So Leonardo da Vinci, also known as his name, Leonardo di Serpiero da Vinci, was born on April 15, 1452, and died on May 2, 1519. Leonardo da Vinci was more than an artist, as we know. He was also an architect, a scientist, an inventor, anatomist, geologist, and historian and writer. So sa dami niyan, masasabi natin na si Leonardo da Vinci was a man of a genius. So throughout the century, madaming influence si Da Vinci sa iba-ibang mga disciplines. So based on the research na kinonduct ni Michael J. Gleb, isang American writer, specifically meron siyang libro na How to Think Like Leonardo da Vinci. So base sa nakita natin sa screen, madami siyang alam si Da Vinci. Meron pa dyan ang hindi nakasulat. Meron siyang engineering and bioengineering. So masasabi natin si Leonardo da Vinci ay isang napaka-genius na tao. No? So Da Vinci was based on the 7 principles when he called the 7 Da Vinci principles. So, ano-ano nga yung 7 Da Vinci principles na masasabi natin, or 7 Da Vinci principles through genius, to become genius. Yan. To become a genius thinker. So yan. So here are the 7 Da Vinci principle led him to become a genius thinker. So ang una, curiosita, demonstrazione, sensasyon, sfumato, arte o siyensa, corpolarita, and cognizione. So pag-uusapan natin yung the curiosita or curiosity. So curiosita, based on the sentence here, approaching life with a heightened level of wonder and continuous search to know and learn more. So curious approach. So anong naiisip natin? Siyempre, curiosity. Lahat naman tayo curious sa lahat ng bagay. So Leonardo itself, he had an insatiably curious approach to life and an unrelenting quest for continuous learning. Even he continued to enliven his curiosity by asking what if, no? Lahat tayo sa generation na to, masasabi natin nagtatanong tayo sa mga bagay-bagay na what if. Di ba, nagbibigay sa atin ng pagiging overthinker natin yung what if na tanong. What if may iba na siya, ganon. What if hindi ako. Pero si Da Vinci, ginamit niya yung what if on how to question life. What if ganito yung sabi natin, what if ganito yung outcome ng ginawa ko? Yan, parang ganyan yung iniisip ni Da Vinci, no? What if ginawa ko to maaga pa? Ano kaya magiging result? Yan. So isa pang tanong, yung how come? How come naging ganito yung result na ginawa mo naman yung lahat, pero parang hindi sapat? Parang ganun yung question doon. Pero, to become a genius like Da Vinci, yun yung magandang question. What if and how come? So yun yung scenario na pwede niyang isipin. So the question what if continues to provoke our imagination, and how come makes you find the reasons behind everything. So mismo si Gleb, yung nagsulat ng libro, suggests that if you write down, o pag nagsulat tayo ng mga ideas na naiisip natin, sa pag-umaga pa lang, pagising pa lang natin, mag-isip agad tayo, what if gumawa agad ako ng isang bagay na napaka mahalaga. Yan. Yun yung curiosity. Being curious in life can make you knowledgeable. Walang masama sa pagtatanong, no? Hindi masama magtanong. Huwag natin sabihin kung nagtatanong bobo ka, hindi po yun. Pag nagtatanong ka, isa kang matalino kasi kulang ka sa kaalaman. So, lagi tayong magtanong, no? Curiosity, you need an insatiable curiosity for life. So, great minds have one characteristics in common. They continuously ask questions throughout their lives. So, wag tayong mahiyang magtanong. So, being curiosity is okay. So, pangalawa, demonstrasyon. Demonstrasyon no? Or demonstration. Commitment to test knowledge and to persistent in the task, which includes experiencing both success and failures in the undertaking. So, commitment to test knowledge. So Leonardo in himself, he lived his life with a deep commitment to test knowledge through experience, persistence, and willingness to learn from his mistakes. So mismo din si Leonardo da Vinci, kahit matalino siya, he learned from his mistakes. No? Lahat tayo natututo sa pagkakamali natin. So walang masamang magkamali. So this principle requires you or us not to take anything for granted. Huwag tayong magkaroon ng assurance sa isang bagay na alam natin na sinisimulan pa lang natin. Huwag tayong maghangad ng magandang resulta kung sisimulan pa lang natin yung isang bagay. No? Kailangan natin ng commitment to test our knowledge through experience. No? Experience is the best teachers. Ika nga. So, this requires you. So, rather, you should test every idea and experience life in firsthand. You need to play devil's advocate to counter your own beliefs about different aspects of our life. Also, Leonardo da Vinci believed that you should declare anything as true or false based on personal experience. So ano nga yung devil's advocate? Kung masasearch natin sa devil's advocate, ito yung a person who express a contentious opinion in order to provoke debate or test the strength of the opposing arguments. So hindi siya yung normal na pag naiisip natin yung parang babarahin ka. So yung devil's advocate, pag may isang topic, mag-iisip siya ng ibang opinion. So walang masama sa ganun para mag-open up yung pag-uusap nyo. Normal yun sa panahon nila Da Vinci, yung sa Renaissance period, yung pagiging devil's advocate. Sa ngayon kasi, minsan, madali tayong hindi natin naiintindihan masyado yung ganong pakikitungo o yung pagiging devil's advocate. So, yun yung mga bagay na pwedeng gawin para maging matalino tayo lahat kagaya ni Da Vinci. Pero hindi natin nire-require ngayon kasi hindi tayo kasing talino ni Da Vinci. No? Yun lang yung kasama sa 7 na Da Vincian Principles. So ano pa nga yung 3? Itutuloy na ni Costan yung number 3. Okay.
Ayan. Demonstration. Doon sa side mo yan. Ayan. No. Hindi yan. Sensazione or sensation. Experiencing life through refinement of the senses. For example, the eye should not do more than see. It should be able to distinguish between the beauty of various colors, note minute details, and savor the physicality of everything the world has to offer. Naniniwala si Da Vinci na sa continual refinement of the senses, especially sa sight, means to clarify experience. Sabi niya, the 5 senses are the ministers of the soul. Da Vinci was a strong prominent of exposing all senses to different experience, be it smelling, seeing, touching, listening, tasting, etc. He has incredibly inspired by the world around him, and the more he honed his senses, the more heightened his genius became. He believed that sharpening the senses of sight, sound, smell, touch, and taste are the keys to open the door of experience. Next, next is spumato or smoke. Literally translates to going up in smoke. It is accepting life's paradoxes and uncertainties, a willingness to embrace ambiguities, paradox, and uncertainty is the key life principle of Da Vinci. He had a very unique ability to understand the extreme opposites of opinion and phenomenon. Um, Embracing ambiguities. Para kay Da Vinci, a willingness to embrace ambiguity, paradox, and uncertainty is the key of life principle. Meron siyang unique ability to understand extreme opposites of opinions and phenomenon. He is also able to explore unknowns and reveal the uncertainties. Karamihan sa atin, yan, ay uncomfortable with not knowing something or unanswerable questions. Kaya naman binabaliwala na lang natin yung mga bagay na hindi natin kayang kontrolin sa sarili natin. Next is
arte and ciencia, finding a balance between art and science, or logic and imagination. This is related to the concept of whole brain thinking or pag-iisip ng buong utak, hindi lang left or right side ng brain. Karamihan sa atin ay hindi gumagamit ng parehong kanan at kaliwang utak. Sa mga taong kaliwang utak ang ginagamit, sila yung mga mahilig sa logic, sa mga makototohanang bagay, or more verbal and analytical. For example, reading, writing, and computation. Compare sa kanang bahagi ng utak, sila yung mga creative na tao, mga free thinker. Imbis na tingnan nila ang isang bagay one-sidedly, titingnan nila ito ng buo and in more artistic way. And Da Vinci was a big believer in using both parts of the brain. He was whole brain thinker. He showed this in his notebook by trying ideas with drawing, especially he was the original mind mapper. Next, Corpulita. Next slide po. Rinig po ba ako? Yes. Corpulita is taking care of one's body, ensuring that a healthy habits and practice and sustained. A sound mind usually is a product of a healthy mind and vice versa. Sa makatuwid, siya yung mahilig sa athletic things. Maliban sa kanyang kaisipan, malaki ang paniniwala niya kung gusto niya gumanap ang kanyang isip na sa pinaka-aayos nitong antas, ay kailangan niya din panatilihin ang kanyang katawan sa perpekto nitong hugis. Number 7, connessione. Or connection. It's realizing that all things are interconnected. It is discovering patterns in the way things work and how things and lives work out. Interconnectedness is seeing how events in the past led to the present state of affairs. A closer study of the history would make one realize how events in the past explain the present. Siya yung nagkakaroon ng malakas na pagkilala at pagpapahalaga sa pagkaugnay-ugnay ng mga bagay. System thinking. This is ability to form new patterns through connection and combination of different elements. Da Vinci believed that everything comes from everything, and everything is made out of everything, and everything returns to everything. Because geniuses is made, not born. Leadership is cultivated, not position. We are gifted with an almost unlimited potential for learning and creativity. We can uncover our hidden abilities, sharpen our senses, and liberate our unique intelligence by following the principle of Leonardo da Vinci. Thank you.
So, yun no. Kadagdagan lang. Ulitin natin, no. So, yung seven na Da Vincian principles, yung curiosita, demonstrazione, sensazione, sfumato, arte, scienza,
Art.
corporalita, and cognizione. So, so number one, curiosita is a curious approach. Number two, constatatione is a commitment to test our knowledge. Sensazione, continuous refinement. Sfumato is embrace ambiguity. Arte and ciencia, the balance between science and art. Corporalita is cultivation of grace, and connessione is the system of thinking. So Da Vinci believed that everything comes from everything, and everything is made out of everything, and everything returns into everything. Thank you.
Galing naman. Galing naman ang mga last group natin. Pak na pak ha. Okay, just an additional information. Balik tayo dun sa pinakauna. Pinakauna nating slides. Which is the balance. We have the balance there. Also, the asymmetrical and radical. Okay, going back, ito yung mga klase ng tinatawag nating balance. We have the symmetrical, asymmetrical, at radical. Pag sinabi natin symmetrical, okay, look at your face. Tingin kayo sa salamin. Tingnan ninyo yung left side and right side ng inyong mukha. Pantay na pantay ba? Meron bang mata? Meron bang ilong? Meron bang kalahati ng iyong lips? At meron ka bang tenga? Kung meron, then you are balanced. Okay, next one, asymmetrical. Kagaya ng nasa sa picture, magkaiba sila. Okay, halimbawa, look at your face. Paano kapag may bingot yung isang tao? Halimbawa, hindi ako nang-judge ha. It's just an example. Halimbawa, look at your face. Yung isa kompleto, yung isa parang may bingot. Is it also symmetrical? Hindi, di ba? Ano na siya? It's asymmetrical. So, hindi siya balanced kasi may something dun sa left side. So, the idea of asymmetrical ay hindi siya balance. Magkaiba na siya. Okay? Pag sinabi nating radical, from the word radical, meaning to say, we are looking for the key point. Radical meaning it's the radius of the circle. Hinahanap natin yung radius ng circle. Nasaan yung radical point dyan? Yung pinakagitna. Okay? Dyan sa example na yan, as you can notice, radical, it's a circle. It's a radius kasi ang hinahanap natin from the word radical. Yung key point ka, yung pinakagitna niya, yung radius niya, that's what we call the radical balance. Okay? Ulitin natin, si symmetrical, parehas, balance sa. Si asymmetrical, not balance. Kasi yung isa, meron ng pagkakaiba. Si radical naman, tinitig natin, ang balance niya ay yung radius, yung pinaka-key point niya. Okay, that's the idea of balance. Okay? Next one, we have also there the emphasis. Ito, kaya ako napapasmile kanina kasi I like the discussion. Maiintindihan mo from the picture itself. Pag sinabi natin emphasis, from the word emphasis, meaning to say you need to emphasize something that is different from others. Okay? Next slide mo nga siya, no? Okay. Diyan sa example na binigay kanina ng reporter, maninotice ninyo kung ano yung ine-emphasize ng picture. It's the green one, the green tomato. Okay, why? It's because it's too different when it comes to the color from the other. Okay, next we have the movement. Movement, it's not just through the use of our body. It also through the use of lines, colors, the texture. Okay, so yan yung tinitignan natin. Okay, next one, we have the patterns. Pag sinabi kasi nating patterns, it's a repetition of objects, shapes, lines, or symbols, or over the space or the picture plane, or yung ginamit niyang plane or material, kung saan niya nilagay yung kanyang certain piece. Okay? So you can notice doon sa example na binigay nila, it has a repetition of objects or a shapes. Okay, next we have proportion. Pag Sorry. Ayan. Pag sinabi kasi nating proportion, tandaan natin napaka-crucial ng role ng isang proportion kapag nagke-create tayo, especially in visual appealing designs. Diba? Kailangan makikita yung equilibrium, yung unity at stability within the design itself. Kailangan mayroon siyang tinatawag na visual balance from the use of the colors, from the use of the lines, and everything. Yan yung tinatawag nating proportion. Next, we have there the repetition. Repetition, we use the repetition of patterns, paulit-ulit na patterns. Okay? Magkakaiba man siya ng color, but it has a same pattern, then that's what we call repetition. Kasi pag sinabi natin repetition, repeatedly used patterns. Okay? So, those are the key elements. Ayan. So, dun tayo sa last discussion natin. With the rule of third of the Vincians. Yung mga we have the seven Da Vincians chuchu na yan. Pakilipat mo nga dun siya, no? Okay. Una, kanina, we have what we call the curiosita. Shano, palipat ako sa 7 principles. Ayan. Ayan. Pag sinabi natin curiosity, kagaya ng sinasabi kanina ni, sino ba to? Ni, this reporter, I forgot. Shano, sorry. Ayan. Napapasmile ako kasi ang galing ni Shano mag-report. Ayan. Pagdating kay, curiosity, it means curiosity. Remember that it's a trait wherein you use the important part of our creativity. Lagi kasi tayong nagtatanong, ang dami nating tanong, ang dami nating gustong malaman. And the idea of curiosity, ganun rin naman kasi si Leonardo. Of course, hindi siya naka-create ng certain literary piece na kilala until now, kahit wala na siya, without his curiosity. Okay? Doon nang gagaling yung paggawa natin. Kasi nga sinabi nga, the Renaissance man, kasi curiosity is one of the attributes of Leonardo or somehow people. Diba? Isa yun sa meron tayo. Lahat tayo, we are very curious sa lahat ng bagay. That's why minsan nakakagawa tayo, minsan ginagawa natin, minsan we try to examine it kasi we want answer based on our curiosity. Okay? Next, we have there the second one, which is the demonstrazione. It's a demonstration. Yes, we have the knowledge. We need to test our knowledge. Now, it's knowledge for us to understand what is the world, okay? Or understanding the world around us. And we use our knowledge from that. Next one. In demonstrationes kasi, more on scientific kasi siya. We try to observe different things around us kasi we want experimentation. Minsan, ina-experiment natin yung mga bagay-bagay based on our observation. That's how we use or to test our knowledge on what the world around us. Okay? Next, we have there the sensazione. Sensazione from the word sensation, meaning to say we use our senses. And with our senses, it has a different use. Magkakaiba yung gamit natin ng ating mga senses. Serves to interpret the world around us, kung ano bang nangyayari sa mundo natin, rather than memorizing. Kasi ngayon, di ba, we always try to memorize. Yun yung problema kasi sa atin. Rather than memorization, dapat ang ginagawa natin is we use facts, we use theoretical knowledge. Lagi dapat ang hinahanap natin yung makatotohanan. Hindi lang dahil based on our opinions, based on kung ano yung nabasa natin, then na-memorize lang natin siya. No, it's not like that. Dapat we always focus on facts. We always focus on theoretical knowledge. That's the use of our senses. Okay? Next, we have the fumato. When we say fumato, it's more on In arts kasi, Fumato, it's more on the art of painting, wherein it described by the techniques of blending colors. Tandaan natin that colors give life. Okay, give life to us. Yan. Fumato kasi it's more on creating colors, the tone of colors, the use, the intensity, and the value when we're talking about art itself. Next, we have the arte or scienza. From the word arte or scienza, these are different practice that combines the creative and analytical aspect of both disciplines. Ano yung mga yon? Art, ano yung disciplines na tinutukoy niya? The idea of having a knowledge on art and sciences. Kasi arte and scienza, it's art and science. Okay? Next, we have the corporalita. Si corporalita kasi, it means body. Yun yung sinasabi kanina ni reporter. Yes, that's correct. Because when we try to go with art, body, it has a connection with movements. So basically, we create movements with the use of our body. So pwede dito, we can associate yung tinatawag nating dancers that it used to describe the dancers' physicality and coordination when it comes to execution of movements. And as well as we try to understand and examine quality movements. That's the corporalita. It's because it pertains to our body. Next, we have the connezione. Connezione, it's an Italian word that means connections. And that's what we need. In the art word kasi, it is used to describe the relationship between an artwork and its audience. Diba? Pagdating sa artwork, dapat laging may connection yung artwork mo, yung literary piece mo, doon sa audience na tumitingin and try to interpret yung tinatawag nating artwork mo. So there's a relationship between, aside from artwork and the audience, kailangan makita din natin yung relationship ng artist at saka yung work niya. Dapat meron yun. Kasi di ba, when you try to enjoy what you are doing, kapag nag-e-enjoy ka, you can create a unique literary piece or you can create a unique artwork. So that's connection. Well, in reality, dapat naman talaga we need to have connections. Alam nyo yun? For you to have power, you need to have connections. Kasi if you don't have, then mananatili kang nasa ibaba. That's the reality. Kapag pinag-uusapan natin ay realidad, not in the inside of art, then we need to have connections. Alam niyo na kung anong ibig sabihin. Okay? So, that's it. Congratulations to all the reporters. Ang saya-saya naman ng abang nagre-report, ang daming nagre-react. Parang nakakatuwa naman. Okay, ang gagaling naman ng mga reporters natin. By the way, please prepare a short quiz, okay, from the report today. Pakigawa na lang po, pakisend na lang po sa GC natin. And also, pwedeng pakipost din po itong PowerPoint natin, pwedeng sa GC natin or pwede po sa ating Google Classroom. Kanina hinahanap ko sila Zach. Nasaan sila Zach? Zach, where are you? Zach, magparamdam ka.
Hello, sir. Ayan.
Based on my record, kayo ay wala pang presentation with the performances that we have. So can you do that next meeting?
Yes, absolutely. We would like to apologize, sir, kasi yung ibang group mates namin kasama po sa U Games. Sila Nairus po.
It's okay. Pero tapos naman na ang U Games, right? By the way, congratulations. Tayo ay number 5, if I'm not mistaken. Congrats to all the athletes. You did a great job. Dahil dyan, si JM naglalaro pa rin. Best of luck para kay JM. Sana manalo siya. So, yun lang. What else? Exam natin ay July 10. So, please prepare for that. You can use the Google Class. You can use our module when it comes to your reviewer. Yan, madali lang siya. Madali lang yung exam natin. Okay? So, yun lang. Again,
Can I
congratulations.
ask
And
po?
yes,
Yung group 1,
Donna.
yung group 1 po next week magre-report or July 4 po?
What do you want? Next week or July 4?
Okay lang naman sir kung next week.
No, okay.
Confirmation.
Ha?
So,
Next
next
week,
week po.
next week? Donna, next week? Are you sure?
Yes po.
Kaya ng group mate mo? Mga group mates mo?
Pero sa yung
Donna, kaya ba ng group mates mo? Oo, hindi.
po sir, next week,
Kaya ba ng group mates mo next week? Oo, hindi.
may time naman po.
Let's go.
Wait lang. Wait lang sir.
If not, then we can do next meeting or maybe we can follow the schedule. That would be July 4. But then, kasi if that would be July 4, I want you to focus kasi more on your exam. Ang dami-dami ninyong kailangang i-review, not just in my subject but other subjects too.
July po, next week sir. Kasi may time on and
You can have next week. So please prepare everything, your performance tasks. Ano ba yung mga performance tasks natin? Yung mga 3D houses ninyo, the designs that you have, and also your perla na sabon with a certain image that you choose. So you can bring that next week. Kung hindi naman kaya, you can bring it next week before our midterm exam. Wala ba akong in-announce sa inyo?
perla lang po yung
Perla lang po.
Perla lang. O sige, yung perla lang pala in-announce ko. So no need na sa 3D houses. Sige, yun lang. Again, enjoy the rest of your day. Goodbye. Ay, no pala. Open your camera pala kasi we need to take picture. Paki-open po yung mga camera ninyo. Tulog man kayo or nasa date man kayo. Sama niyo yung mga girlfriend ninyo. Okay, so magka-count ako 1 to 3. Andiyan pala sino to? Sino kasama ni Shano? Okay, smile. 1, 2, 3. First group. Okay. Another one. How can paano ko to gawin? Tingnan mo kasi, it's 24 only here. Pero hindi ko na nakikita yung iba. I don't know how to do it. Paano siya?
i-tiled mo po sir. Di ba? Dapat tiled.
Wait lang, hintay lang. Layout. Alt 4. Okay, sorry. Oh my God, I'm so bobo with that. Sorry, dear. Tile ko na lang. Ayan, nakikita ko na sila. Hindi naman naka-open mga camera ng mga to. Okay, smile. Ayan na. Oh my God. Nakaka-excite naman. Excite ako bigla. Thank you, friend. Okay, smile. At the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, isa pa. 1, 2, 3. Okay, that's it. Goodbye, everyone.
Goodbye po, sir.
Bye, sir.
Shoutout
Shoutout sa'yo,
sir.